Good morning and welcome back to another episode on the Coin Kings channel. I'm your host, Down the Crypto TA. Look, I'm trying to get this stream going, and the platform that I use, they made some sort of an update, and I don't know what to do. I could not get started as easily as I would have, and to be honest with you, yeah, I'm still a little bit confused right now. Like just overnight, just some changes and everything looks different. Everything looks different. I can't see anything. Let's see. Let me at least get this going. Thumbnail, everything was gone. I'm trying to scramble here this morning. Um, I did some posts yesterday. If you follow me on X at Down to Crypto TA, you probably would have seen those. If you follow me and you get my alerts. But anyway, um, I gathered here that we may have done like a little five-way move through here. We did something through here, but to me, it kind of looks like a five-way move right in here. This was an ending diagonal on a 5 right here. I'm not an Elliotician, but, basic stuff I can do in Elliott wave, but that would explain, the huge bearish divergence that we got through here. And, what felt like and ultimately could have also been a squeeze here since, a lot of people were trying to short in here, including myself. I took 2 shorts. Actually, I had 3 positions yesterday on stream. This one I had open before stream started. That was my short here, was just here in this range at the time. And then I took another 2 attempts in here, and both of those failed. And I have that right here to share. I think it was no, it wasn't that one. It was that one. And this one, I believe it was. So that one was a winner. This one was a loser, and then this one right here was also the 2 losing trades that I took on stream yesterday. Just right here in this area, right here, trying to catch the top, which is never really a good idea to try to catch the top, right? But that was what happened there. I did end up scalping the crap out of Bitcoin afterwards, right through here. I took a short here, which I scalped. Um, I got stopped out in profits on this one. As soon as it dropped down, I took some profit on it. I let the rest come back and stop me out if it wasn't going to continue. I did the same thing here and did the same thing right here, which this one I'm still holding on to. I actually moved my stop up to the top on this one as opposed to a break even. Um, just to see if they'll come back and take this anyway. If they don't, then it'll continue to pay me out. But I've taken profit twice on this here. I'm looking for another bear div, a possible double top in here right now. Um, I was seeing some stuff here in this 15-minute time frame that would suggest that price would roll over to the downside. That's another reason why I moved my stop up here. But to be honest with you, I don't think that I'm gonna get it. And when I say roll to the downside, I don't mean like go back down there all the way to the lows or anything like that. I just mean like get more of a correction in here. Than what we've gotten. So far, we've only tapped into, like, the golden pocket from this point to this point right here. That's all we did. We had the little head and shoulder formation in here, which measured down to the golden pocket as well. But here you can see that we tapped into the golden pocket, and we got the bounce off of the golden pocket. I think that there may have been, um no, not necessarily down here. This is something else I'm gonna talk to you about here as well, with the RSI. But, I was seeing some divergence on my other indicator in here. I don't see any divergence in here right now, um, as it pertains to this Bitcoin chart. I don't wanna look too far to my left trying to find something like that either, so, um, I should just be able to look immediately at the left pivot and be able to say whether or not we have a bear div or the bear div actually makes sense. That's something that would play out. Um but there are some things in here. So, the only real move in here yesterday for me in terms of the correction was right here. Like, this was easily definable right here, and then from there, we started to see the divergence take place through here until we finally got to a point to where we would, start to trickle down a little bit more. We got a Head and Shoulders, which I posted on that as well in my tweet. I mentioned that there's a Head and Shoulders on the RSI. So that was kinda like the tipping point for me to know, okay, yeah, we're probably gonna come down a little bit more. But I was assuming my assumption is always that wherever you start putting in divergence at, you're likely to retrace on that, because those are weak areas in the market. That hasn't happened. Like I said, we stopped out here at the golden pocket so far. Um, we're at resistance again. These are the new daily levels. This is actually one that I posted, not posted, I posted it, yeah, but this was one that I drew out on stream yesterday as well. It's right here. I might have modified uh, some portions of, no, the low, but not the top. Um, I think maybe trying to get some, yeah, I think I did change, like, this low in here a little bit. Yeah, because I had it pulled down to about, no, maybe to about right here where the golden pocket is located at. Um, but the rest of it is the same. I just went back in and just changed it a bit, try to get it a little cleaner to where it actually was supposed to sit at. But nonetheless, we knew we had the inverse Head and Shoulders. We had the measured move for the inverse Head and Shoulders. But you never know when price is going to turn around. So it just made sense for me to be looking for the short position, just given some of the other stuff that I was seeing in the chart as well, to look for that little correction if I wanted to take, a small short, but not thinking that we're coming all the way back down here to the lows. That's not my thoughts right now. My thoughts are that we continue to go up, which is what I've said. For a bit, for a while, you know? Um, one of the things that I did mention that we could come to was the standard deviation 1. I have been saying that for a while, and that's exactly what we ended up doing. So if we're on a weekly time frame right here, I kept saying to you, we can get to that standard 1, we can get to that standard 1. Just like, the other day, a couple of days ago, I said we could get to, the top side of that channel, of that wedgie structure, because of how the positioning of the Bollinger Band was sitting. So here, you'll see that that's exactly where we tapped yesterday before we tapped out. So I really did. I went extra on my short position right here just to be able to take some profits early. I put in more than I would normally put on any trade. So I stepped outside of my boundaries with that one for this reason. We were hitting standard deviation 1. I did retweet on that too. As we were sitting in this area that I really liked the zone that we were in, to consider taking a scalp short, and reminded you of some of the things that we were looking at, and that was what we tapped right there, the standard deviation, um, 1. Now, can we push to the standard deviation 1? Absolutely, we can, because we have a lot of space in here, to be honest. I mean, real talk. Real talk is that Bitcoin can push through any of this if it wanted to. Obviously, it can. It can push through any of this if it wanted to. It's an open mouth. It's a range of volatility. That means that, if we get the right amount of volatility, we can just ram through here. Low volatility, like you'll have a zone that you'll respect like this. So this is low volatility trading right here. But when you have a wide range of volatility, you can push through any of this. So the first tap is usually like you're lucky. Your best tap is your first tap on it. Next time, won't be the same. And a lot of this is going to move around eventually too. So my next target, as I mentioned, is going to be in here. So I'm getting into the lows in here, and that's also going to include um, the range high, taking the liquidity from this range high, which all of this lines up with the top side of the channel right here. Now, where price action is at the time, if it's this bar, it's cleaner. If it's the next bar, it may not be as clean. We may see us start to pierce outside of this channel, and it looks like we're going to go somewhere. But this is my next target right here. So I'm gonna keep it general again right now, as my targets had been a lot higher. So this is me trying to be a little bit more conservative. And I'm not sure how the wicks in here would actually be um, major resistance for Bitcoin. As you can see, the wicks in here. So if I'm going wick to wick, and it looks like, right there that that was basically what we got. But if I'm going wick to wick, I'm just going to extend this through. Okay, let's see here. That's what we got. But I'm not sure, you know, to what extent, these wicks, you put it together with something else, it kind of makes sense, but I'm not sure. Um, how relevant this is as to holding, as to being resistance. Now, from a weekly standpoint, there really isn't a lot in this space right here. Not from a weekly standpoint, and we can go to the daily and the 4 hour time frame. We can find some local resistance, which is what I choose to do because the chart can top out anywhere. It can top out anywhere. Um, It's just a matter of supply and demand when we get to a certain place, how people are feeling, are they bearish, are they bullish? Anything can happen. So I don't discount anything that's between here on the lower time frame as being some sort of a pivotal point. If it lines up with something else in my indicators or something like that, then I'm gonna take it. But if we're looking at the weekly time frame, there really isn't anything in here until we get to 78. 78.4. I'm just gonna say 78.4, just round that number up. 78.4. Really don't have any true resistance. But we got these wicks, which these wicks are actually some sort of a pivot on a lower time frame. And this is where we're stalling out again a bit right here. I'm just gonna extend this all the way to the other side as well. I'm gonna check on something. Um, let's see. Okay, so no, that'll do it. This is just where we have these wicks at, those wicks, and that standard one. Now, it may be something else depending on what indicator you're using. Maybe you got something else there. Um, I know in a 4 hour, it was a old 4 hour area of resistance, prior resistance right here as well. Let's see. Yeah. So right here, this red box right here, this area right here, I know that it was prior resistance. You can. It's not just the wicks. Like you can actually see the pivot here. That's why I'm saying I don't discredit the lower time frame support and resistance areas just because I don't see it on the weekly. But once we do, because the weekly is attempting to come up, then we can say, um, then we can say we don't have any resistance. Because then we'd be looking at a weekly time frame, what the weekly is looking to do at that point. Right now, the weekly is shaping up to be great, but it's not great right now. It's shaping up to be great, but we're not there yet. So I don't have to rely on the resistance on the areas that I don't actually see in the weekly. I don't have to rely on that right now because we're not trading the weekly at the moment. We're trading lower time frames. We like the daily is just starting to flip. So daily levels have basically been what I've been focusing on here recently, daily and 4 hour. Weekly, like I said, when the weekly flips, then I can focus on those weekly levels because then I'll be looking to get to some of those levels on the weekly. And the one right now, just being ahead of myself, is what I mentioned to you, which is going to be um, right here. So to these lows right here. Let me change the color on this. Let's make it blue. But so far, so good here for Bitcoin. So far, so good. I did take this little, I took this long right here. I'm not feeling good about it still. You know, I took it just because, we had been trending down. We hit the golden pocket. I kept seeing some signs of bullish divergence. We kept getting little buy signals right here. So, you know, I was waiting for us to get here anyway to take it. I'm trailing my stop on it because I don't really feel comfortable with this position. So I'm trailing the stop on it. It'll stop me out in profit before it even comes back to where I entered at, which is just off of this candle here. But we got a little green dot down there on it. And like I said, you don't see the bullish divergence right here. I'll show you here on my QTD, which is what I should have been using yesterday, but I was so stuck on the RSI. I didn't even bother to see because sometimes they'll run together, like they'll look the same, and then sometimes they'll deviate from each other. So right here, like you can see the difference. Like there's no divergence here. Like there's no bear div here, which I trust. I trust the QTD a lot more because it's overpriced action. It actually sits on the price action chart, which makes the information a little bit different in my opinion. But right here. But then when we got into this area right here, as you can see, it's going down. I noticed um, this is something else that helped me with my short yesterday. We're putting in the rising, like sometimes I see the pattern a lot faster right here. But we're putting in the rising formation through here. Oh, let me turn it up. So it's putting in the rising formation right through here. Um, we're doing this situation right here. And so I took, yeah, that helped me with my trade. I think I was off of that one. I may have been on this one at this point, but that's the rising structure right here that we were looking at through here. Like I said, ending diagonal is what it looked like to me. And then that was the end. Like when we broke down below the low in here, that was it. When we broke that low, that was it. But you can see how we've been putting in a little bullish divergence right here. So I took that. I took this. I took this entry because of that piece of bullish divergence. I don't like when the cloud rises, but we haven't been getting follow through on the 15-minute anymore, not to the upside. So the last few times that I've seen this happen to the upside, actually the last two times I saw this happen to the upside, we didn't get the follow through on it because typically this would be bearish, and I'd be looking for the bear div, like the bearish divergence between this point and this one right here right now. That's authentic. But the follow through we didn't get here just tells me that there's a possibility of if we get another low, that we would just possibly sweep this one and then continue up after that sweep. If if we're taking back the bearish divergence play, then maybe we do like 786, something like that. Um, I don't think that we will be taking up this low right here, but that's up for debate. That's up for debate. Mm, not really feeling it. I'm not feeling it this morning, guys. I'm really not feeling it this morning. Let me take a look at the. I posted it like this when I initially saw it, and of course, at the time when I posted, we were just hitting, the measured move for the inverse, head and shoulders. We were just hitting that, and then we had that little extra bit there. That little stupid line that I drew yesterday, that line was actually pretty decent. You know that? That little stupid line, I was like, I'm reaching for stuff that's probably not there, but, yeah, that little stupid line was some good. Bullish String was just climbing out of this thing yesterday. It was annoying, especially on that 15-minute time frame. Like, it was just disappearing. Um, but short squeeze it is. No, I think it's a little bit more than a short squeeze, but at times you can see that they are squeezing shorts. But there was some real buy-in. Like, when we were all down at the lows, you know, when we were down here at the lows, I told you actually, when we hit was that low 60,000? I told you I could see the accumulation, um, I could see the accumulation, and it was, a large accumulation, like, it was really getting bought up, and that was in real time. Um, you can see it again right now. Um, I've basically been using the IBIT shares, which, that's another thing. It's gamma positive, I know that much, and, max pain is around, like, $38 for it, which has basically been that's it's been stuck around that $38 range. We're out of that now, so probably do, like, 45, $45. Do, like, $45, which I think, be in line. Look at that. Told you I didn't trust these things. It's only a small move, I know, but still. Not trusting it. I'm not trusting the move to the upside right now. Not right now, I don't. I think I might have just got stopped out of that loan. Like I said, I'm trailing the stop on it to make sure I got good profit. And again, that's why I moved my stop up here. And I think my entry is like that here. It didn't come to I think my entry is like that in between the bars. I know like let's see, 200 is wrapped across that top right there. Now I like this part. I won't lie. I do like this part right here. It's like a 200 that's wrapped across there. You see how we nozzle nose? Got that nozzle nose right here. Um, Authenticating the break of the trend right through here. You see that center trend line up right there. So yeah, actually, if the market's gonna hold up, we really can't afford to lose this right here. So maybe it just comes back into this point right here. Either way it goes, I do believe I just got stopped out. And let me just check and see. Um, Close. Stop. This is just a little position that I'm taking right here. Honey, at this point though, that's just this. I will get stuck right here. It comes in a little bit more to stop me out. And then of course my long getting short and that might, I mean my short, it might get hit, but I'll be looking at the enter if it makes sense. Only if it makes sense. Um, and if I've taken profit out of it twice already, so the way prices come back, uh, that's it right there. Mark price means this is still an open position. So 73, 762. Yeah, just in between, these bodies right here. Like I said, that was why I took the short from, and I shorted here, and I shorted here as well. And these three were successful short trades right here. Well, we can clean all that up. Um, we'll see what we can't find for today. This part down here looks nice. I mean, if you're going with that, but I don't trust the move right now. I just don't. I just feel like we should be going down a little bit further. I just feel like we should be. We're not. We're not. Um, I feel like we should be. Dead 769. I added new levels in here for the daily to the upside. You have to ignore this right here. This is actually our range. Where I'm expecting for us to come up and sweep the top side of the range at some point from that larger range that I showed you off that weekly time frame. That's what that line is right there. So that's here within the $80, 80,000 dollar region. I haven't had any coffee this morning. Not that it really does a lot for me. But this one here, this is next using the local pivots here from the lower time frame. This will be next right here. So let's stop and let's see the numbers right there. And then this one right here. I added some all the way up to here, but mainly just watching this right here right now. These next two levels there is in here. But this current one, which I think, what did I do? I did something. I don't know what I did. And the first time I posted it, we stopped out exactly at the top, right there. I think it was right there. It might have been this candle right here, right here. We stopped out exactly at the top of the range. But I went back in and I changed something, and I cannot remember why I did it. I just know that I can't remember if it was because I took into account some other details I was seeing in the chart um, that I used when I determined my average. average ranges, um, or average participation. Um, that might have been what I included in it. I can really tell. No, I won't be able to tell because I didn't use a VPN instead. I went daily when I did it. But as far as the weekly, I used to only just use the average participation. So from the weekly time frame, this is what I only used to use. You can see how that was pretty clean, um, pretty clean with us coming up to that. You go back and you look at all of my old posts. This was all I ever would use, and it's still good. This is still really good, but I've been trading a lot more as opposed to long term. This is a long term bias. These weekly levels are long term bias, which is why I haven't been using them because I've been trading a lot more. But um, they're really good too. They're really good too. I just see it from a weekly perspective. You can see I'm breaking down the zones so they're not so wide because it is a long-term bias situation when I use those. Um, just haven't been really using them here lately. Um, it's just like the sloppiest little flaggy. I don't know what to call this. I don't really consider it to be a flag. It's like the sloppiest little thing right here ever. Um, let's see what else we got in here. Do we have anything? I just think that we come back. To be honest with you, I think that price action should be coming back to back test here. That's what I feel like. I can't make the chart want to do it. I wish I could. I just feel like it should be coming back into here. Something else is kind of bugging me right now. I'm bullish. I'm bullish. Don't get me wrong. I'm bullish right now. For more upside. But there's something just bugging me right now. Um, I don't like that for me. Let's see what it is. Might have something to do with this too. I think it has something to do with this too. Okay, so I mean, like we can range here. We can even push up. Maybe we can even push up to like it could be one of those situations where moving averages just don't act as resistance or support. It can be one of those situations right now. But this is still a little off. This is off. This is off unless it comes back down from here. Unless it back tests the breakout region, this is going to remain off for me. These bands are still pretty wide. Now these are longer time frame bands, but um, this for me would imply that it's a short term move to the upside, and we would come back in here. That's how I see it. We would come back in here, at least come back down here towards where the back test is, and everybody be like, "Told you, it's a trap." It's just a back test, man. Just a back test. But I think we can handle that. Otherwise, I mean, you can correct this by pushing strongly to the upside too. It's just off. It's off. The 200 is all the way up here. It's all the way up here. 60 is all the way down here. This is 60. 76. Just cross up here. It's not ready to move as fast as it's moving. I'll just put it to you like that. Like it's moving a little fast. I didn't see it here on this daily. We've been struggling with this range. I just want to see us blasting through here so fast. We'll be, maybe we can get right here, right around, we have this one at, um, I know everybody uses different EMAs, everybody uses different ones. Uh, it just happens to be sitting right there with this level. It's pretty narrow too. Um, yeah, a couple of hundred off, a couple of hundred, space right here. So maybe we could do something like that, 76.3, 76.9. Maybe we could do that. At 74 right here. We've been struggling right here though. For sure. We've been struggling. See how much um, we've just been hitting this repeatedly. We had just broke back into it before I started the stream up and then not too long before I started the stream up. I'm struggling with it. There's that tidbit. Um, we still look decent on the Bollinger. Just looking at that, we still look decent right here. I'm still outside of standard deviation too, so still outside of it. It's still, it's still in an expanding state. We're just struggling with this resistance right here. This zone that's acting as resistance. We're still struggling with this. If that happens, that would naturally send us back down here to back test, like at least what we have the standard two at. Standard one around at 70. And that for me actually makes sense. It just does, given some of the other stuff I'm seeing, it just makes sense. I know we were a bit extended if I was looking at the indicators as well, even though we haven't done too much. We seem a little toasty over here. Seem a little toasty right here. And we could get that correction and still be good. Nobody wants to see that today, right? Because then we would totally engulf. Well, we won't engulf this candle, but it'll look bearish. Like it won't look cute if we do that. It'll look like this right here, and then everybody's on pins and needles. We're going to 30,000 at that point. which I wouldn't take that off the table. I would not take that off the table. Um, that's something I wanna look at too. The timing of our move down. I don't think a lot of people are really caring about that too much. This was a little toasty though. Doesn't guarantee anything right now, but maybe come Friday, come tomorrow, we sell off. Not not looking for a brutal sell off, but it's enough to make some money off of a short. It might just be tomorrow. Hmm, might have got stopped out then. I swear it missed me by like $1. It missed me by like $1. Hmm. It literally missed me by $1. Yeah, this could literally come back down here. It wouldn't be in anyone's interest that's bullish. I don't think we hit the measure move just yet. Nah, the measure move off this head and shoulder is here, if my line is correct. That's what that is. And that's this situation. I'm sorry I don't have my magnet on. Yeah, it's probably not gonna come down right now then. Just That was a little scalp, but mm, and Blowfin yesterday, I mean, it wouldn't have been, correct, but it didn't do this. I saw it do it on everything else, even you see Blowfin didn't do any of that. Um, I saw it here. I started feeling a lot more confident about the short, you know, especially with the ending diagonal, a rising wedge, whatever you wanna call it. CME was doing it also. We just filled in this. No, we did that the other day. The CME gap is still up there. I set an alert on it, but the gap is here. I think that's gonna be in line with what we're looking at for that weekly move or, just a move in general to the upside. Yeah, and, those contracts that are, what, I said 45, same thing. Those 45, dollar contracts is none other than where? Right here. We coming forward. We coming forward. We will get that, I remain bullish, even though I'm looking for more of a pullback, um, than the little bit that we got. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But in here, it's 45. Those contracts will get filled, and we'll find this to be some sort of, resistance area that will happen, in my opinion. Pullback would be good for anybody who's not long. That's just absolutely bearish. 45 will get dealt with. It's a little bit too high, but close enough. And even if I did it with this one, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do that. That's what I think. I'm gonna do that. This have been our magnet zones for contracts have been right in here too. The 35, the 38. 38 is max pain, and then that 40 right there. 'Cause. 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 'C And that's right on that gap too. We're coming for it. Oh boy. It's supposed to be 15. Okay. Not bad. 15-minute time frame. All right, we'll see what we can't find, unless you took that. Because I don't want to do another short right now. I mean, I will, but I didn't take that. Probably could have. As long as we're above those moving averages, I really don't want to. But I mean, it doesn't mean that price can't. I don't dislike. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. Let's see. USDT dominance. Let me just take a look at this because we've been holding. That's another thing. We got to the equals. We got to the equals, um, and then we stalled out from there. Of course, we're holding. We're in a support level, but I figured that they could at least take these equals right here, right? Now we're holding in the support level. It's a matter of us breaking the support level. When that happens, like I said, I think that tether is going to come down here to this trend line. This is a bearish pattern. This is a bearish pattern. And it may not break the lows of it right now, but I can see reason to come back down to it, if nothing else. Just put that lock on that. To come back down here because it is a bearish pattern. Now, if we break it, then that's another story. I don't know what Bitcoin is doing at that point, um, as it is the inverse to Bitcoin. But we made the move. We did really good with the calls on this, on USDT dominance. Really good with the calls on it, all the way through from the low to the high. But and then that'll put Bitcoin, like I said, that'll put Bitcoin at the top of that channel into the zones that I was looking at. So I was about what well, let's just round it up and just to say $80. But you can always spot that little range on the weekly time frame, that mother bar on the weekly time frame. And then if you're doing I bet then 45, and if you're doing CME, that gap, that big gap right there, those are targets. But this is done pretty well. I'm just looking for the follow through for the breakdown if we're gonna get that from here. If not, then this is gonna hold as support, and maybe it ranges in here for a little while to just correct some of the stuff that I'm seeing that just seems like an imbalance in my opinion for Bitcoin. Then we do this. Let's see the picks this morning. Basically where it was yesterday. Chances. I don't know what all I got in here. Trying to see what sort of mess I had in here to show you all. Everything looks the same. They all look the same. Uh, Oh, okay. We came back up. I didn't realize that we broke that. Okay. I figured this was going to pause at the gap. This is my actual data time frame right here. I haven't really gave any updates on this stuff right here. I haven't actually done any updated stuff on it. I really haven't even looked at the queues that much. I got 1, 2, 3 lines on the queue. Dow, I don't think I did anything over here whatsoever. But yeah, most of this I haven't. I just wanted to take a look at those. All right. Just jump back over here on Bitcoin. Let's see what's happening. So we're lingering. We're trying to hold on to the top side of that cloud. For me, again, um, I don't know if they're just trying to run it up before market opens. What gives here today? Today we do have unemployment claims. That's it. In terms of impact, well, I don't even know if that's going to be impactful, but we do have unemployment claims. I mean, we're fighting right now, and that's not bothering the market. I don't understand why unemployment claims would. So, um, so gold, silver, copper. Remember that little bearish pattern we saw over here yesterday? That thing did break down a little bit. It's trying to reclaim. It still looks a little struggling. It's like it's struggling still. But it was this little rising structure right here. It's going sideways, mad sideways right now. I don't know what's happening in here right now. Um, I thought Bitcoin was wonky, but this right now, I mean, I was looking at this. Yeah. So you see that? See how pretty that is without the wicks? That doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I was trying to yesterday when I was just strolling through the chart, trying to find something that made sense, and this was the only thing that made sense. And the taps are pretty on point on the line. And if you take it off the line, of course, you know, you got that. It's hard to see, but you take those candles off. It looks bearish as crap. Doesn't have to be. It dang sure looks bearish as crap. But I guess that could have been said right here, right? I probably could have found a way to do that right here. So maybe it's, you know, just blasts up to the upside with trying to find its way. Yeah, I could have definitely did something like that right here. I could have forced it. But I don't like that. The structurally, it's different, a little different than that, but we did that right here. I don't know. I don't like that. Here we are. I just figured I'd point it out. I know, yeah, it is mm, it is a rising wedge that we could see from the lower time frame as well when we were initially looking at it, and we broke back down into it. So initially, um, on this four, when we were looking at it, I think over here too, I had to put it on a line chart. I think I did. Otherwise, I think I did. We had it something like this right here, and I remember saying, "Hey, it's holding up above here right now," but you can see it like we've actually broken down from it according to this time frame, and then this would be like a back test with this little rising wedge in here, and this was a attempt to break to the upside on this thing. The initial um, news might have did it, and then it, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just creates another shoulder right here, another dip. It doesn't have to be a shoulder, but maybe it rolls over. Like, I don't understand bearish formation after bearish formation. I got stopped out. I'm a little concerned when I see that bearish formation after bearish formation. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is bouncing off the 20 SMA. Uh, I'm gonna come back to that goal. Yes, that's cool. I get to think now what I want to do. I don't mind if it just continues down. Like, will that happen? It'll probably throw in some bullish divergence before it happens, but yeah, it'll be the bullish divergence where the oscillator goes lower than price action in this case. The oscillator would be moving faster than price if we were to get some sort of bullish divvy in here, which means that Bitcoin price would hold up. Probably about the 786 is good enough. And then this will put in a fresh low. push for a new long. Um, hmm. No actual strength, as far as the 1 hour is concerned. I mean, it could be the start of something, but that's no, I have a little bit more of a bearish bias this morning. Um, just just for the correction, I have a little bit of a bearish bias. I think that we will get a little bit more of a correction, even if it's like a double top. Maybe we come up and we can SFP this area. I just see a lot of weakness on some of the immediate time frames, like this 15, 1, 4 hour suggests that there's more of a correction to be had in here. But it's, it's so difficult. Um, so difficult right now. A little easier to move this price action. We're around the time where we start moving the price anyway. Then market opens, but I have a slight bearish bias this morning. I'm bullish overall. I think that we do go higher. But I just think that from where we got this move yesterday, how fast we actually made this move up yesterday, the added squeeze through here, um, that there's a little bit more to be had to the downside. Just from the, like I said, the 15 1 hour and 4 hour would suggest that the uh, the daily, that's a whole nother ball game. It's a little overextended, but it may not give it to us until tomorrow. So it's some mixed signals. I personally won't be looking to go long closer to the top, like a little pullback, something like that. Yeah, I did that one, but up here, I don't have an interest in, you know, taking the long so close to this top. I'd rather be looking for a short in here. We just have all of that liquidity right here too. Like this is where we went bearish. Well, bear div. That's when we started to bear div. That's a little, the weakness in the chart would suggest that it would be easier to come down here and get this liquidity right here. Yeah, I, I, I'm leaning on this liquidity being taken. It puts us back at this daily level here, which puts us back at the breakout back test. So this is what I think. I think that we have a likely chance of coming down here, taking out this low, back testing the breakout. Like 69. That's what I think. fact, I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna move this back down there. I do think that that liquidity gets taken. Let me see something else. So I think it was the 4 hour I was looking at. Hey, let me find these EMAs. Naming stuff, and then I can't find it anymore. Yeah, it was a 4 hour, right? Hour. I think this is like the 200 off of the 4. Let's change the color. Yeah, I know that it's correct. Yeah, that's a 2. Then I said that's 60. I just feel like we fall below that 200. It's none of this is making sense. We take this liquidity in here. Now what is this? 26. I'm just gonna turn that orange too. Yeah, 26. So right here. Somewhere back in here for this back test though. We would have to get a God pump from here for that 4 hour to make sense to me right now. Yeah. But if you look at the heat map, and I just put it on the 48. 48 is going to represent a 15-minute. This is like our largest pool of liquidity sits right below this over here. We have this down here, which I don't think that that's going to be a real thing. If you look at it from, oh, sorry, 24 hours, it's going to be a 5-minute chart view. That's it's the same. Let's see if I can pull this in. That's the same. Mm-hmm. I just think that that is taken. So, I mean, if we come up first, I'll be looking to short, especially if we take out the liquidity here for a double top. Um, or SFP basically be the same, but this looks ideal. Not because they have to come take the liquidity. It just looks like all of that bear, all this right here. Because this is the start of the bear div right here, finishing off this wedgie structure right here. We haven't even played out that wedge. We haven't played out this head and shoulders fully. And we haven't played out this wedge because that wasn't it. not be looking for continuation. So if we were, let's see, daily, that makes sense too on a daily. That's that standard one I was saying to you guys on the Bollinger, like the daily Bollinger, where I mean, we're expanding a little bit on the daily Bollinger, but and we haven't gone too far for the daily, but it still just looks a little extended that we could come back to the standard deviation one, which is right here with the with the golden pocket just below this liquidity right here. So we have to lose this because this is what we look like on the daily right now. We're just to the upside of this thing. So if I was gonna, I can't have my drawings. It's not gonna work for you. Let's see if I can use just this. This is a little easier for me to highlight. This would be us. This is what it would be like on the daily. It could have looked bearish if we drop back down to here. If we were to do that right now, I know that's gonna look bearish to a lot of people. But we still have 11 hours. We can come down here and then reclaim back up before the day is over. But it just makes sense that we come back to here, in my opinion. Did I draw that over here? Let's see what I drew it from. I should probably put it on both in the chart, right? And it matches. I had a VWAP on. I realized it. Yeah, and that'd just be back testing the breakout region. Which is this. How that's true. That makes sense to me. This expansion doesn't usually take this long. Like, you don't just pause like this. Not when you're expanding. When you're expanding, you just shoot through. We paused a little bit too much and we're extended. You just go. We got to squeeze on this time frame too. Mm. So we're about to explode. That's for sure, or at least we should. To squeeze. I definitely would not be trying to long up here though. I don't see a reason. It's rare. We did it yesterday, but it's rare that you squeeze, break out to the upside, squeeze again, and just do that again. It's rare that that happens. Um, it's usually a squeeze and you break out, and if you squeeze again, then you're probably going to come down some. So this is very rare. It can happen, but it is rare without the correction. We haven't got that. It did it right here. It's very rare though. It squeezed and it broke down. It squeezed and it fell down again. Do it anywhere else. No. I don't think we got any exits anywhere else. No, we didn't there. We did here. Yeah, we started out with this little petty move right here, which wasn't enough. And maybe that was why we came down again. But after this, to only move down as little as we did, yeah, it made sense. That's how I feel about now. I think what happened right in here. Mm, I'm looking for downside, but see, right now our range is pretty narrow in here until we do expand. It's my target. if this was to be a weird little double top, if it was, cute little tweezer bottom right there that it had did, it'll put us right here. If it was that. And if we failed, this is the confusing part. If we failed to break down, I guarantee you it's like sitting in the center. Yeah, stupid. Mm, my bias for today. Mm. This right here, just kind of space that out, like lighten that out, because it could be a dead zone. All right, let me get back on close situation. Okay, like I was saying over here, I mean, we're going from one bearish formation to another bearish formation. Um, we tried throughout here, and we did get a nice move up from here. Actually, from that low all the way up to here, nice move. I just don't like the structure for the most part. And here we had the same thing down here on silver. We were looking at it yesterday. A little rising structure in here, which is a lot more pronounced. All right, right here, off of this time frame. And we had this range right here that we were doing in here. Decision for possible upside, which just as far just overreaching, obviously. It's overreaching. Like I said, if it were to pan out, then I would move this stock up and drop down the target. But right now, very uncertain about this. Just, The only thing again that was looking pretty decent was copper. Oh, and it's coming back down. And I didn't actually draw a pattern off the copper one. Um, so if it fails this line right here, and validates the second opportunity to get in, then I would suspect that price would come down here. If it happened, probably 560. Yeah, 560. So take the lows to here. If it fails, the structure right here is a lot different. I take this away, the structure is different. Like this is not necessarily a bearish structure, even though it's had a swing fail right here. Unlike the gold and silver, I'm a little bit more concerned about them right now. Maybe it's just fact of being slow as all get out. Now I do recall this has been a bearish rising formation. Send and broadening, and this was just in case if we do it. I just kept moving it around. They said decided to want to break down. It would come down here towards the bottom side of the channel, parallel this. It would do that. This pattern formation is a bearish formation. It just hasn't fallen through just yet. This is the measured move, like I said. Let's set this channel. Then you have a VWAP down through here as well. I think this VWAP comes from. I don't know why I got this VWAP right here. I don't know. Something. A very decent parallel, with the exception of that break right there. Pretty decent in calling, reversal. That's what I would look for. Progress before it happened. Come back down here. They just range. But no follow through just yet. It looks like a little head and shoulder. No lie. Looks like it. Volume looks like trash on metal, so I won't even try with the volume confirmation. I know we had like the Verdiv up here, I believe we did. Yeah. So could be confirmed through the Verdiv. It's something you can play on copper if it does lose this little area through here. Remember, I've had to move this line right here once. I had it like this. And that was that little bounce. And then I left it that way for this one, but I couldn't do it for here. It just didn't make sense to leave it there. So theoretically, it's been failing this line. It has no respect for it. That could be next. Let's see if it wants to continue to bounce off of here or lose that and come down to the bottom of the channel, which historically it has done so. This channel has been around for how long? Probably not that long. It's a daily time frame. Choosing something. Okay, so let's say since we'll give it 2021. That's a little bounce reaction off of Bitcoin. That's copper. I don't know that I had anything in here similar to that before. There was. Yeah, I couldn't because this thing has just been here. It's never lost a 20 SMA since 2023. It hasn't lost a 20 SMA since 2023. That's interesting. Hasn't lost 20 SMA. Since 2023. So right here in 2023, it lost 20 SMA a few times, but it's been above it since then. It's quite interesting. Makes me want to mess with it a little bit more if it was to drop again. I press my luck again. I didn't consider that until just now. So basically, it's never filled a demand line. Basically, what it's telling me, because those demand lines. That was the first time. That's the first time it actually had pierced the demand line, but it's never lost a demand line. About 47.56. So it's never not traded below maybe standard 2, 1, 1. Yeah, not trading below standard 1. So we're still just doing that in here. I don't really need that. So it's basically, yeah. And if it does lose it, then I'll look for it to hold the 20, which is right there. But right now we're just still moving. Yeah, so until we lose that, we haven't lost that. I guess gold is okay. It just looks messy. Looks really messy though. I'm still in the pocket. See Bitcoin. Twisting. Sure that means from here. I think this is supposed to be a 4-hour. It's not 4-hour. I guess that move was safe. Oh, that was silver I was on? Was that silver I was on? No, it wasn't silver. That was gold I was on. Okay. Let me get rid of this. I don't need this anymore. And I'm going to keep that most recent little triangle. This has been our safe haven. Our buy. Our buy level. The top orange. 2025. Yeah, either that one or this one. I mean, this or this. Can I get rid of that one? I can. Silver's done that. No. to that point to it. I just want to see what's going to work for silver the best. 2, 3 weeks. Let's just stop that drop there. 3 weeks. So 3 weeks might work really good for silver. Interesting. It's worked for at least a year and a half. Year and a half. Maybe that really was up low. Anyway, I'm not buying silver. I'm just trading gold. All right, Bitcoin just holding the range over here. I think we're kind of waiting for market to open or something. This is that same level from yesterday. We're still just hanging around. Let me take a look at some other stuff in the market. I haven't looked at Ethereum. XRP. Let's take a look at XRP. Somebody mentioned it yesterday. They did really good with the XRP trade. Let's see what this is about. I don't know what that is about. Let me get rid of this stuff. This is what I usually use. Again, is participation levels like this on the weekly, especially on altcoins. I'm going to try to get to all of those. We've been stuck in between these three right now. 162, 134, 118. Go to 12 or something. Still making lower lows. Yeah. So basically, yeah, we're in just these 3 levels right now. 162, 134, and 118 for XRP. And our chances of going up. Um, what is that? When people are trying their best, just buying this all the way down. It's a good reason for market makers to keep flushing it down. Got one short there, one short here, one short signal here, and one short signal there. Look at all of these attempts to find some strength to push this price back up. It's clusters and clusters. I'm gonna put in another bear div on XRP. Let's see. I mean, just like Bitcoin, it could be the first time that it's could be. This isn't actually confirmed just yet, but maybe if it closes up here today, it'll be the first time it invalidates a bear div down here. Because every other attempt has just been a bear div. Let me just see where it is. Within here, squeeze. Hasn't had many of those. Had one here. It's about the only one it had. Right here. Let's see what that paired with. Okay, so basically breaking above 50. So a mean reversion would indicate that this is going to break to the upside. Right now, like a 48. So a 50 mean reversion could mean that price. I'll wait on a 60 to be honest with you. But this could break to the upside here would suggest that it would be like that. I know y'all hate circles. It will be just like this right here. Remember I said this on Bitcoin? I know I could tell that it's going to go up. This isn't exactly all the way up under the mean line here, but close enough. Like it was over here, but it didn't actually have a squeeze on the Bollinger. So that this could have been the leading indication right here. And not 100% underneath the mean right there. Not all things. Here was another pretty decent example of it being being underneath this mean. For anybody who don't know, I have a bearish bias this morning. Not that I think Bitcoin is going all the way back down to the lows. Overall, I still think that prices will go higher. I just think that the correction was a little petty, and that more of a correction should come in. It's just a couple of things that are not balanced properly, and that's what I'm looking for. I can't guarantee it happens, but that's what I'm looking for. Had another one right here. Didn't really have the squeeze right here. You still got the move, got a slight move up, but didn't really have a squeeze. And this happened around, let's say around about the mean reversion here on the RSI. Really have any good examples, but I know that XRP moves off of volatility. It doesn't actually move off of the RS. The RSI is kind of useless for XRP. I did a study on this a couple of months back, and that's what I found, that where you find volatility squeezes at, which is why XRP will get these crazy pumps, and then it'll just stall out, because it responds very well to volatility and not momentum. It doesn't have momentum for the most part. It has volatile moves. So it's usually a volatility move for XRP. So this would be your chance right here if it's going to go up. If you're in this, stop would definitely be down below. And be looking for that move up, at least to get back into here, since it does look like this could be the first time it doesn't get a bear div. Partially. This is look like. Let's see it on the weekly. This daily stuff. Weekly. Ugh. A nice squeeze down here. A nice squeeze on this weekly. Now this I'd be looking to break up. I mean, gotta wait for anything meaningful in here. But yeah, it's just chilling right now. Like I said, this is why XRP doesn't do anything. XRP only moves off of volatility. It doesn't give two craps about a RSI, momentum indicators, period. It's always going to be a volatility. It depends on volatility. If you don't have volatility, then you just get sideways, stagnant price action from XRP. This is the closest I can get to seeing some sort of a volatile move take place too. So maybe this plays out what's likely to happen off of the daily or lower. Right now it's just this, and this looks like it's going to continue to be like a rejection point right now. It can move through this because it's a wide, it's an open palm right here. But that's still all I would look for. Would be just coming back to the top side of the this ascending trend line right here. It's a little off right there. but no closures below 134. If that remains true, um, either it just continues up from here, comes back into this trend line, possibly even the 192. I would look at it like that, but this has been the 3 range again right here. If it follows Bitcoin, then it would get a push up. We'll just go with the 192. Just say that it pierces this, and we're all like, yay, it broke through the trend line. It doesn't look likely right now that it would be a sustained move above the trend line. I guess I got to put this back like I had it. No. All right, Bitcoin. Lovely. I just try to get my lines to be a little bit more accurate instead of just dropping a line in here. All right. Hmm. It's been trying with failure. Since back here, it's basically been free falling below it. Tried to get a bullish signal through here, failed. No follow through. Tried to get a bearish signal right here. Really didn't follow through until last minute. Tried it again right here. It's kind of weird. Off, off. I don't know if I can use that here. Structurally looks bearish uh, on this time frame. Just this time frame. That's pretty decent. It's just that it's not useful. Just this time frame. Trying to find something useful. Mhm. There's nothing useful, just price action. Bearish formation. I would basically either look for it to come back and back test this lower trend line here. You basically know whereabout price action has been managing to hold since that drop. It's basically been here at around this level. If I zoom out to nah, let me just see that. I mean, structurally, I haven't changed any structure just yet. So the level's pretty clear. Either it'll drop down and hold inside of this wedgie structure that it has right here. I mean, it's too close to this, so you look for the order block to hold, not fail. As long as it stays above here, the order block would be here for me, which lines up with here. So I think a breakout will happen for XRP, but I wouldn't get bullish on it until it actually changes market structure. You can count these little, small, local pivots in here, but XRP needs to flip here. 160, yeah, needs to flip here. And until that happens, yeah, needs to change this structure. But that's kind of bearish. I would buy it. I would try to trade it if it came back down to 134 though. Um, since that seems to be a demand line right now. Did ADA do what I think ADA did? Or is it the same as the last time? Or did it actually come in and hit that? Hold on, is this the same as the last time I looked at it? Hmm. I was trying to see if there was any sort of a pattern built in here. It's not. I think that was from. Um, what was that from? I can't recall. I mean, outside of the outside of that weekly level, 2620, you can break it down into smaller levels here for ADA, but I would just continue to play this range. This is boring. This is really boring. That really boring. Last time I saw this was on okay, Bitcoin is falling a little bit. This was on dang, what's this freaking I know AVAX and ICP. ICP got stuck like this and then they just flatlined. lower, which ADA's already cracked any reasonable support levels that it had. It's already broken through all of those. Everything. The ascending trend line that held it up for years. It nuked through that. And the last time I was looking at it, I was telling you that, you know, the potential of where I thought it could go to if it lost that last weekly level that it has. Kind of box. I'm just marking out what I see is important. It's just going to be these three. A little bit more room to play in the center. At least until it leaves this zone. Let's see if I care about that. I mean, I see the other stuff in between here. I can minimize the area that you have to play with in here. Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't add this. And then from the lower time frame, it could be ranges to play around with. Basically use the top and the bottom, the high and the low. I just rather draw it as a box though. Yeah, just that. I don't really like this too much. Let me change this. Which means could do this right here. But let's see if we were playing around with this on the lower time frame. So just the 1 hour. I want to cut it if it doesn't make sense. This one really doesn't make sense to me right here. I should add that into it, but let me see. From this perspective, I see a bearish signal coming in for Bitcoin. And that's the one I said didn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe for somebody who likes to play VRVP, it makes sense for them. But this zone right here doesn't make sense for me. We'll put it back in here. This doesn't make sense. He doesn't have any respect for it. I wouldn't play with that. I didn't do that from here though, did I? I did it from the 4-hour, right? That might be my problem. My problem is that I did it from a 4-hour. Dailify this thing. I daily it. Goes like that. This would go here. And then I can add that in. This would be like this. And this would be like this, where it has more room. That's what it would be like. Just gonna see if that makes sense. Yeah, the 15 minutes just threw out an additional confirmation on the move to the downside. Bitcoin is starting to drop a little bit on that 15-minute time frame to back towards that golden pocket where it got the bounce from. It's trying to hold the low of that cloud, which is trying its best to push it down. It's 8:35 right now. So that short is holding up. Let me just check this again. Okay. Makes a bit more sense. For some reason I don't like it. I like this. I like this level. So if it breaks down and comes back in here, which was actually the weekly level for it, yeah, I would take a long off of this zone. I would either look for a 3-bar candle or inside range if it comes into here. Let me see. It's just Chop City right here. So I would either look for a 3-bar. I look for a 3-bar like that. That one, and that. Which is the same as here. I look for a 3-bar. If it comes to one of these levels or swipes below it, there's nothing in here. Likes 3 bars a lot. It's a really good 3-bar right there. It had a range right here. Where it swept liquidity twice before bouncing up. But if it comes down to this level again and it puts down like a 3-bar candle or a range, I would take a long off of it. Otherwise, I don't. Let me get rid of them circles. Looks like crap. This is definitely a level to watch right here. The rest of it is noisy. What we have here is a failure to communicate. This looks like your new range. Let me see if we have confluence on this range. We do. There's nothing that says this is strong. I wait for price to come back into here and then I take a long off of this right here. Looks daily shows. May not actually come all the way back down here this low. Let me see if we were getting closure. We weren't getting closures below here, right? We were not. I'm gonna actually set it on this. Let me set it on this candle. we'll let it take out this low if it did. And that's not the wick low. So that's fine. Yep, I'll let it react. Come back up above the range and take an entry long, unless you want to spice it up. And if it does tap here, just go ahead and take it. If it does tap down into the that trend line there. But nothing about this looks structurally strong. You're looking for it to get back to here. $26.25, that's correct. $28.18. It's $28.17, that's fine. And if the Lord is willing, I like that. That's nice. We're just trying to hold it up right now. It's kind of nice right there. How else would that have been? Just checking. But yeah, that's a good long entry right there for ADA. Bitcoin's trying to hold itself up. I thought we did something with this chart. Might be over here. Yeah, we did. And we saw that bearish formation off of that long right there. Tried to find another one. It failed. Let me see. Well, first of all, start here. Doesn't have too many levels. I know that much is true. We were just looking for it to hold here the last time. No follow through yet on that 15-minute bearish signal, but it looks like Bitcoin will. It's not confirmed yet. I'll talk about it when it confirms when it confirms, but it is showing a bearish signal for Bitcoin, which is going to be a bearish signal for the rest of this market if that, that happens. I know the 4 hour on Bitcoin yesterday was probably like the best signal. I wasn't patient enough for it. Let me see. Just trying to see what we're doing. All right. Actually, I want to move that. Let me just see what we did. Golden pocket. Tap. Rejection. Flagging. Got a nice little range right here. So I like that. Now it's just a matter of the breakout. Let me see what confluence is. Right, let's zoom out on hype. Look at Bitcoin fighting, boy. Okay, so we got the W formation. Higher highs, higher lows. Yeah. Let me see if there's any confirmation on this a little bit. A little bit. So that's a little bit of confirmation on that here. It looks like, to me, it looks like this flat will break to the downside, but the sweep underneath here would be a long entry. That's what it looks like to me. Like, it would be I mean, I don't wanna call it a false break, because that's a long way off for a false break, but it looks like if it did drop down below here, it would be a sweep of liquidity, and then price will pop back to the upside, eventually coming back up here to either sweep the top side next or break out and come higher. I would potentially look for it to get into this golden pocket scenario. I'm just gonna set it like this because that's what I think about it, and then I will wait for it to set it on that to reclaim. If it does, make sure you're getting the sweep on it, and then I would look for it to actually do what it to actually come up to the golden pocket. That's a good risk to reward if it happens like that. Um, if it breaks to the upside first, I wouldn't want it to break to the upside first. Structurally, the RSI has a similar structure to here. I would want the breakdown first to sweep here and then takes that liquidity, then goes. That's what it looks like it would do, in my opinion. I didn't really see just price action wise. Yeah. Oh, I would look for a sweep and go. If it breaks to the upside first, I mean, it could be a strong breakout, um, but it hasn't really gotten far to the upside. Because you're going to put in some bullish divvy below here. You're going to put in some bullish divergence below here. I would look for that. You could do the other option would be trying to catch a fair value gap, but really, because it's been coiling inside this range, it's important for it to reclaim this range and go higher. So sweep and go is what I look for on I'm just gonna make a note. And that's what I'll be looking for. Sweep and go right here. If you're feeling lucky now, you're at your place where you want to take your long and stop loss below this low right here. I don't know how much of a risk that would be from here. I don't really like it from here, to be honest, but if you were doing it now and this was your low, I mean, it's not bad. And then you expect for it to break out. And let's just say you're aiming for this golden pocket up here. I would TP on 786. And then if you have a runner, then it'll continue up into this golden pocket, which it didn't actually tap right there. From that, uh, I, I'm in favor of a sweep. Definitely in favor of a sweep. Let me check something else. Yeah, the sweep just looks delicious. I'm gonna check back on this later. Just knowing that I think a sweep is the thing. I'm gonna leave it just like that with that. But I think if you get a sweep, then you get a nice pump. Wow, it's been a while since I looked at this. Last time we were playing to bounce off of the VWAP. This time it's rejecting VWAP. Interesting. Yep. That's what we were doing the last time. Playing this VWAP. And this is the year long or all time. That was the year long VWAP. So the 1 year VWAP is what I was playing the last time. All right. This was good. Haven't really looked at this in a long time. We had that ascending broadening formation, which was a bearish formation. We was talking about that, talking about the breakdown for this, but ended up taking a long off of VWAP here, all the way up. Left the runner, and I took profit a few times on it, but then the rest of it went back to the market, which I was on stream like I should probably take that money. Too late. No, something's wrong. Okay, there we go. I should just put a ray on this. Yeah, that way I don't just put the ray on it instead. There we go. Let's do this low. Okay. This held with this VWAP as a rejection area. So let's keep that. It's 9 o'clock. Let's see some. Um, VWAP. Let's apply one. 120. 120. Actually, 1.618. How likely is it to hold that? 1.618. Drop this. And the toilet. This is a 1.618, and if let's see, oh, this looks awful. Let me just try this the easier way. Ugh. About a 2. And this was where? About a 2. First red bar. Right now it's only done the first red bar. And here. Two. Hmm. That could make sense, I guess. As if it doesn't hold the, if it doesn't hold that 1.618. I didn't see a good way of drawing the fib retracement. I really didn't. So I avoided it. Okay, so that's also 786. Bounce from a 786. And the first time it bounced from the golden pocket. Maybe this would get lost in translation coming down here. So if it holds, if it doesn't hold, then this makes total sense. Is there a reason to be interested? Not really. Interested on a breakout. Otherwise, it's a 200 down here as well in that little zone. Mm. Let's do support. I think the one I was initially looking at was there. And no, I looked at some other stuff. It wasn't what I had in here. My weekly levels. Let me zoom out so it's not so hard to see in the 2-day. Okay. Didn't care for that one. There's a weekly level too. 113. This I'm not certain of. I think it's an internal play, so it doesn't get any numbers. I'm waiting on Bitcoin to decide. See if we're going to get that breakdown. I guess we'll know in the next 20 minutes if it's going to break down. Still looking at that golden pocket as a retracement level for Bitcoin. Just stick with the VWAP. Take that away. So 786. Bounce. It's a lot of interest for this right here, but it is on support. Cool beans. It was holding support though, right here. Now this is acting as resistance. There's really nothing left for it. If it loses that, then it'll be looking to come in here and where it previously held support here. This will be the return right here through here. Resistance there, resistance here, support, support. It would be this. It would be this. I would be interested in that. if it loses here. It's a lot of confluence right here. Yeah, I like this. Right here. But it is not getting a closure below that 1.618. So this is what it's holding. I don't know if it cared for that one. First time it bounced was there. Second time broke through but no closure below it. So that ended up being a good long after the reclaim. Holding here. So yeah, if it comes down here, I'd be happy to take a long off of it. It's a little bit too far away right now, and it's hitting a 10 and a 20. It'd either have to, is there a squeeze? There's not a squeeze. I'm definitely not interested. Nope, no squeeze. Not here on this time frame. No squeeze. Squeeze here. A little bit of stalemate right in here. Little bits of stalemate. But you'll know if it loses here. Maybe if it comes back down here, if it comes back closer to that support level, and it chose to hang on to this compression, it's worth an attempt. I guess just the resistance is all right there. I'd rather it drop down a little bit lower and come into here, however how long it takes, because this took a long time. But it is a 786 bounce from this level right here. So sold off quite a bit. I don't know if they have any news or anything like that that might be useful to it. Yeah, that's a huge drop. Let me do the actual line for that time frame. That was the weekly. So it would be looking, it'd actually be the low. It would be the low. This was the most recent low right there, which is 93.10. And just for safety, because it could want to wick into that one. A lot of respect for it, those levels, it seems. So I like it. I like it. It's 93.10. All that red. All the red I have in here, 93.10. Change that color. Just the color. The colors. A little bit more subtle. FEG, 50% retracement of the fair value gap. So 1-to-1. So 1-to-1 of this drop here. Low of the range, though it is going sideways. So yeah, if it does that, I'm interested. Let me just draw a center one right here. Dim it out. Deviate a little bit. It's not getting above 50, really. It's not getting a mean reversion. And here it's doing, I want to do that because I got the bear div there. Let me see what makes more sense. That makes a little bit more sense. All right, Bitcoin looks like it's confirming. Not yet, but trying. Not really anything interesting there, like it was over here. There, I did it there, I did it here. Did it there, did it there. It looks like when it's ready, it will do an inside range. It did it every other time on the big swings. Like you can see the one right here where it did it. Did an inside range before it actually got that swing. Did an inside range right here. Right here before it got that drop. Did it again right here. Again right here. Again right here. Right here. And it goes on and on. It did it right here before it got that pump to the upside. Can't really tell from the noise in here. It built out a descending wedge in here off of this one, but it looks like whatever it does, it will start out with an inside range before it makes the move. That's going to be my guess. If it, I mean, it's repeated everywhere. Everywhere in here is repeated. It's everywhere, really. I don't think that's one right there. But you get the point. It did do these inside range swings. It did one. No, it didn't do one right there. Okay, just right here. Right here as well. I'm gonna go back and study this later. But whatever it does, it looks like it'll move to an inside range first and then be looking for a breakup or a breakdown. Right now, I favor this area right here for a loan. But if it comes back in here and it makes sense in here, I would go for it right here since it's holding that pivot. Support, support, and then we saw resistance all the way back there. Bitcoin is fighting right here. It's trying to hold up here, but if we get that follow through, that'll be our drop to our golden pocket. That's what I'm hoping for. But it is putting up a good fight right here. Trying to hold above. Trying to hold above. That's 72,339.7 right now. Definitely putting up a good fight. No follow through. It's probably like a golden pocket. 786. More like a 786, probably. Yeah, it was. 786. Support level. I hate how tight these are to each other, but that is what it is. And it was the 1 hour that had that squeeze. Okay. It's the 1 hour. Mm. Oh, okay. I don't usually like this. Really don't. But that's what it is. So flag. Makes me think that maybe it does that. That's our range high. That's the 1.618. That's what it makes me think right now. Hmm. It is rare that you squeeze and break out twice. No, that wouldn't be the same for this time frame, but I don't think that's the same for this time frame. Yeah, it would. Well, it's squeezed here. We got this pop. Let's just assume that's a 3. This is a 4. Who knows? And then another volatile move, if it went up, would be there. That's a probability. I don't want it. If you can hear me, market, I don't want it. It's a probability, though. Um, or what I had the first time. Or what I had the first time. Actually, let me blockade this idea. I mean, it's probably wrong. That was the other idea. Actually started us out with the short, though. And that's wrong. has to see this. You have to be only 15 to really see it. What's that? So maybe, just maybe, it'd have to break out of one of those sides for me to take the long though. So if it does, if it does come back up and break out of here, I will get long there. I'll be late, but I just don't like the signal off of the 15-minute, but it's not falling through. So, but that's a probability right there as well. Um, yeah, that's a probability as well. We'll find out when market opens. Oh, market is open. Ooh, ooh. VIX coming down a little bit. 50 dominance holding steady. WG. Yeah, if it breaks out of here, then I'll take a long. Otherwise, I hope my short stays in place. Let's see this from a 15-minute perspective. I see momentum coming up on the 15-minute a little bit right there. So it's Thursday. That's the scenario. I'll post this up on Twitter, on X. My bad. And we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'll be looking for a golden pocket drop. I appreciate you for being here today. Sorry, nothing really. The little signal for the bearish play, but nothing is falling through right now. Market is open. We're really not getting any sort of volatility right now. So I just put this in chat and see how it goes. And anything else evolves, I'll let you know. But this would be the scenario right here. This one or the one we're in currently, or continuation to take out the liquidity down here at below. All right.